Hello, Master Tax here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a battle which was my best battle so far in this new tank, which is the Tier 9 British Premium Heavy Tank. It is the Chieftain Prototype. If you enjoy what you see, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So before I get into the action, I'll show you my crew and equipment that I'm currently using on this tank. My crew on this tank are quite good. It is my crew for my Super Conqueror. So my commander's onto a 5th skill, my gunner's onto a 7th skill, my driver's only on his 4th skill, and my loader's onto a 7th skill. The equipment I'm using in the special survivability slot is improved hardening. Then I've got bounty rammer and bounty stabilizer. Also use a premium consumable food. On field modifications, I have maxed this out, so I do get a permanent bonus of plus 3% to vehicle hit points and plus 1% to aiming speed, haven't fiddled with any other modifications. So now, let's have a look at it in action. Today I'm playing on Berlin. It's a standard battle and I've got the 5-10 matchmaking and I'm top tier today. And what I'm going to do is push into the city and basically find somewhere hull down. If you know much about the Chieftain tanks, you know they need to be hull down. The actual hull armour is pretty poor, but your turret armour is fantastic. This at tier 9 obviously isn't as good as the tier 10, and I was hearing a few things that it wasn't that great, but I have to say I do really enjoy this. I'm thinking that I might even enjoy it more than what I do with the tier 10 Chieftain. I think when you're in tier 10 and you're playing your Chieftain, all players just load the gold, which that's their choice. It hasn't really got any weak spots on the turret. It's got a tiny little cupola, so you are going to struggle against a hull down Chieftain. But this does have a little cupola, which is quite hard to hit, but it still is a weak spot on the top. There is actually a few weak spots on the neck, just below the turret, especially if you slightly angle. But I think since this has got weak spots, you can play it a little bit more than what you can the actual Chieftain. Also, when I'm playing the tier 10 Chieftain, all artillery players seem to focus on you, but it's not quite as bad in this, although you do get a few shots coming in from the artillery, but it feels like you're not focused on as much. There is more dangerous tanks on the battlefield, and this isn't the best tank at tier 9, just when I said about the artillery, one hits us. This probably isn't the best tank at tier 9, but what I'm finding is I find it really fun. And then the tier 10 one, all that one does is frustrate us. It's great when you have a good battle, but when everybody fires gold at you and every artillery shell hits you, it's so frustrating. So I am really enjoying this tank. So I'll tell you a little bit more about the tank, and you get a 119.38mm gun, 120mm really. It has 262mm of penetration, which is absolutely fantastic, and you have 400 alpha damage. With my crew and equipment, I've got a reload time of 9.43 seconds, and that gives us a DPM of 2546, which isn't too bad, but it's definitely not the best. And then my aim time is 2.4 seconds, which isn't great, and my dispersion is 0.33, which isn't too bad. But one thing I can tell you, you do have to use a vertical stabilizer on this tank, because shooting on the move or rotating your turret is horrible without a vertical stabilizer. So try and put the best one on you can get your hands on. And other stats on this gun is you get a shell velocity of 1150 meters per second, which is really good, and that's because you're firing APCR as standard. And you also get to carry 59 shells of ammo, which is really good as well. And then you get the lovely 10 degrees of gun depression. And along with your turret armor, that is one of the key things that makes this tank really good hull down. So back to the battle, and I pushed out a little bit there, and I did take a shot. Was a little bit of a reckless play, but I really wanted to stop that Paragon from pushing forward. But I do have some support from the TNH, so together hopefully we can keep them back. We don't really want them pushing in here. If they do a big push into this area, I will struggle to be hull down, and your hull armour is really poor. So my teammate in the TNH has managed to take the Paragon out, so I can come back to this little window and play hull down against this Tiger, and he's been taken out, so I'll take a shot into that 53 TP instead. So we're winning this area now. We were up against it for the full battle, and now an enemy player is trying to cap the base. Is that 53 TP going to push out? So I'll quickly tell you some more things about this tank. With my crew and equipment, I've managed to get my view range to 440 meters, which is just shy of the max. And then the mobility of this tank isn't great. You only get a top speed going forward of 35 and a reverse speed of 12. So I'm pushing round here because I was suspecting that they might try and flank us, and I managed to take the KPZ out, which is a great tank to take out. So my teammates look like they're trying to push back and try and reset the cap, and what I'm going to try and do is get to this ridge line again and stop the enemy from pushing behind them and get them in a crossfire. Not sure what our light tank's doing right at the back. He could come through and reset the cap. So I'm hoping that my two friends in the heavies can get back, spot the 34-3 in the cap and reset it. And I've managed to take an IS-3-2 out there. So there's only two tanks in front of us. Somebody capping. We've spotted the person that's capping. Managed to get a shot into the 53 TP, but he got a shot into me. Have the reset it, only 9 seconds. Can the reset it? I'm just trying to stop all the enemy tanks from pushing round, and I'm not sure if the enemy player pulled out the cap or my teammates have reset it, but this gives us 1 minute and 30 to take them all out. So I'm pushing in now, try and take that T103 out. I've taken him out, and there's a 53 TP here, and then only the person that's trying to cap. So I've got the hit points to take another shot. So I'm just going to push straight out on the 53 TP. I took a shot but managed to take him out for my 4th kill. So there's only the 34-3 that was trying to cap the base. Can I make it back and try and help? Might be able to get a shot through here. There's an opening. Shouldn't have any problems, and it looks like somebody's rammed him. Let's have a quick look at the stats. That was only a class 2 badge, so how well are people doing in this tank? Also got the steel wall, which you've got to save the most hits, at least 11 of any other player on your team, with potential damage of at least 1,000 hit points and survive. About 2,080 potential damage, and that's because, which I haven't mentioned, you do get 350 millimeters of armor on the front of your turret. And I also got the high caliber for me 4,320 damage with 374 assist. Top of the tree for XP with a base XP of 1,289. My friend in the TNH also done well. I'm top for damage with a 4,320 damage. I made 70,000 credits plus 11,701 XP. That's due to playing a premium vehicle, a personal mission payout, and a personal reserve bonus. So I'd like to thank you for watching today's battle. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found the information useful. If you did, please don't forget to like and comment. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. There's a little icon in the bottom left hand corner. Cheers.